Two 14-year-olds in New York are facing felony charges, and 20 others have been suspended for sharing a video of a student engaged in a sex act. It follows the case in Colorado that involved hundreds of nude photos shared using a secret app. Why are teens suddenly engaging in this sort of online behavior? I guess it's not necessarily sudden. Dr. Jodi Gold, a board-certified pediatric psychiatrist and author of Screen Smart Parenting, is here. And boy, I feel like I just need to hug every parent of a teenager right now, because this is real, it is difficult, and it's hard to get our hands and our minds around. Can you give me an idea, this idea of sexting? What is the psychology behind what's motivating these kids to do it?
So first of all, there's a lot of psychology, but to be clear, it's really easy to sext. So in
Sure it is.
Yeah, so
you put a smartphone in a teenager's hand.
And you're sexting. So right now in 2015, we click and post, right? You don't immediately. You don't click and say, do you like this picture? Do you think it's appropriate to post?
There's no measured kind of thoughtfulness.
No.
Right, which teenagers, let's be honest, we weren't good at it in our day, and I'm sure they're not any better at it in their day.
So now grown-ups too, we click and we post, right?
Yeah.
So we understand why sexting is so pervasive, but think about teenagers, they're so primed to sext, right? They don't have a developed brain, so they're more impulsive than adults. They are trying to figure out their sexuality. They're trying to figure out dating and who they are. And they're prone to peer pressure, right? They want to fit in.
So is this a peer pressure thing, or there is an aspect of it?
There's an aspect, certainly in Colorado, right? There's certainly an aspect of peer pressure. You want to be more grown up, you want to fit in, you want the boy to like you. I mean, think about it. You put impulsivity, peer pressure, and emerging sexuality together, and poof.
So it occurred to me that in a way, in terms of, because everyone's panicking, what do we do? Is it the school? Is it the parents? Is it both? I mean, is your stance that both parties need to sort of be involved in this?
Yes. My stance is both parties need to be involved, and it needs to start much earlier. I want this discussion to start at age 10.
So this is the new, essentially, what you're thinking, like new sex education.
New sex education. So sex education in 2015 has to talk about your digital footprint. It has to talk about your sexuality. It has to talk about Photoshop. It has to talk about porn online. It has to talk about who you want to be online and offline. And that discussion has to start at age 10. By age 16, the kids have their phones, they're sexting. It's hard. You know, the parents out there of 16-year-olds are looking at me being like, yeah, like my child's going to give me their phone.
And you're not going to take your kid's phone away. I mean, that's one thing that some parents are probably mulling over. Do I just confiscate it? But then we know that kids, you ban me from going out, I'll sneak out. I mean, we know how teenage minds operate. I get that. So in terms of, we saw in New York, the superintendent sent a letter to the parents, sort of urging them to be aware, to educate themselves on what kids are doing. That's important.
That's really important. I mean, he also suspended kids who received texts.
And what do you think about that?
Well, my opinion is not that you should have any type of record for receiving a text, but my understanding is that he suspended them because they broke the honor code.
They didn't report it.
They didn't report it, and that's important. I don't know whether they should be suspended or not, but it's really important. If you get a sext or you hear about it, you got to report it. You have to tell your parents, and you have to tell the schools, and the schools have to take much more responsibility. If you look at the Colorado case, they will tell you that the schools were like, well, we don't know what to do with this. We weren't taught how to manage this.
Well, and then on the other side, parents are having to deal with these photo vault apps. They appear on the phone. They look like they're a calculator, but they actually are an app that are designed to hide inappropriate content. What's a parent to do? I mean, these things are specifically designed for deception.
So these ghost apps, what they're telling you as a parent is it's not about policing your children. Give it up. I mean, try, but you're not going to be successful if they're hiding. It's more about the conversations you're having with them so they feel comfortable saying, hey, I'm feeling pressure, or look, this is the image that I got. Can you help me manage it?
Right. Okay, so we've only got a quick amount of time left. How do you start that conversation with your kid? I mean, even at 10 or 11 or 12, what's the opening line? I mean, how do you go there?
I'm okay with starting by talking about your digital footprint. I'm okay with starting by talking about who you want to be online and what kind of images you should reflect online.
It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away. Understand that it stays there, and talk about what kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be that sexy person? The boy needs to like you because of who you are, not because of the image you send. Also, you need to go online and talk to your kids about what a sext is. If you put pictures up there, parents and kids will disagree as to what a sext is.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Well, and add to that, also understand what the consequences and repercussions are, which we're seeing happen now in these cases. Dr. Gold, always a pleasure to have you here and have your voice in this discussion.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. All right, I think we need some good stuff. We'll have it next.